It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Not as we know it. Not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Not as we know it, Captain. Hello and welcome to another episode of TrekHammer, where we're talking about every single episode of Star Trek from the beginning to the end. We're coming close to the end of Season 1 of the original Star Trek, and today we're talking about Devil in the Dark. This is an amazing episode. I'm going to say that straight off. I watched this and thought, wow, this is going fast. And then at the end of it, I thought, that was only half an hour, surely. But no, it's a full-length episode. That's how fast this pace is. We've got a weird situation. A mining colony has been there for a long time on this planet. And suddenly, they're starting to get attacked by something. So either something's come to the planet or something's happened on the planet. So the Enterprise is here to investigate. What they find is a silicone-based life form. Amazing stuff. It doesn't look like anything that Starfleet has seen before. It's completely different. It's alien. We get the fantastic phrase from Dr. McCoy, "I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer." Love it. We get opportunities to see all kinds of new interesting ideas. And also, Kirk and Spock swap sides at several points. Kirk says, yes, it might be the last of a potentially unknown life form, a potentially unknown species, but it's hurting people, it's attacking, we have to kill it. Which, yes, I can totally understand. Spock, however, says, it's the last member of its species. Killing it would be an affront to science. We need to try and sort the situation out that we've got and study it. And yes, perfectly legitimate situation. But then Kirk meets the creature, and I'll talk about why in a minute. I just want to get straight to this point. Kirk meets the creature, realizes that it understands what's going on, because he points his phaser at it and it stops charging at him. And then he lowers it, and it starts creeping towards him. He puts it up, and it moves back. It understands what's going on. It's intelligent. So suddenly it's like, perhaps we don't have to kill it. Perhaps we can reason with it. It's not a savage animal trying to defend territory at all costs and harming people and we can't stop it. It's an intelligent creature. Perhaps we can reason with it. Spock comes in and goes, Jim, it's going to attack. You've got to kill it. They've switched sides. And then they come together. It's wonderfully done. And it shows just how much Spock is willing to put his own views on science and stuff aside to defend his captain and his crew. Meanwhile, Kirk always wants to defend his ship and his crew at all costs, but he's the thinking, intelligent captain. He's not the guy who just shags the pretty alien woman and then fist punches a lizard man. The type of captain that we've come to expect from stereotypes and cultural osmosis about Star Trek, which is actually not true.
We come in peace, shoot to kill.
Kirk is the thinking captain, not necessarily the action captain, although he does that as well. And it comes through so well in this episode. So, what is the situation? Well, Kirk and Spock and McCoy beam down into this office of a mining foreman, essentially. He's running this entire operation, and it's interesting because money still exists. They're all going to be rich because of the stuff that's on this planet. Whoa, money still exists in the Federation. Oh my goodness. It doesn't later on, but for the moment it does. Which also goes to show that even at this point, where the Federation exists in Star Trek, not all of the Federation exists in Star Trek. They've come down because they're investigating this operation. A mining team keeps getting attacked, and people keep disappearing or dying. So, they're here to find out why. There's this strange ball on the foreman's desk, and he says, yeah, we've been finding these all over the place. We don't know what they are. They're not worth anything, so I'm just using it as decoration on my desk. Fair enough. Bit weird, but in all honesty, we've seen an awful lot of stuff like that in sci-fi. We just have a bit of decoration for a tiny bit of world building. So we think nothing of it for the moment, and then we go on. They can't find anything, the crew from the Enterprise can't find any reason why these people are dying or disappearing. And then they go further and further down through this mine, and all of a sudden there's all of these balls all over the place. And then the creature turns up. He starts attacking. And they start going, right, we need to find out what's going on here. So Kirk beams down more security people who actually act like proper security. This is brilliant. We don't see this often in Star Trek. Security officers actually acting properly. They hold back the civilian miners so that they don't get hurt. They don't wander off on their own and get attacked. They stay in groups. They do get attacked, yes, but only when one of them is distracted by something else and leaves one person alone. And unfortunately, when you're in twos instead of threes, that can happen. So we do see a security officer die. He's in a red shirt. We knew it was going to happen. But for the most part, the security team act properly, like trained security. They keep the civilians out of harm's way. They go in and investigate. They do the right thing. They find that this creature exists and it can eat through rock like it's not even there. It's like they cut through the rock like a hot knife in butter, basically. This thing is incredible. The special effects in the enhanced version really work well too. You see the way the hole in the wall, it just sort of expands and then disappears, and it's really well done. It's subtle, but it works. And the creature gets hurt. It does get shot and it gets hurt, and a piece of it's left behind, a piece of the shell, and that's where Kirk and them find out it's silicon-based life. But what I really liked, which I didn't see the first time I saw it, and pretty much only noticed this time around, the shell continues to pulse a little bit. It's not entirely dead straight away. It's a living thing. And I think that's just so good. You don't see how it's been done. It's clearly someone inflating and deflating something with a pair of bellows or a little squeezy thing. But you don't see the wires or anything. This thing pulsates, but only in the little bits that are ridged on the shell. It's very well done. And then there's a part of the creature that is open to the air, and it's in pain. Now it's angry. Now it's hurting, and it's not thinking as well as it would. So it starts attacking more and more. It's aggressive. It's desperate. These people are coming, and it's desperate to stop them. Why is it desperate? Well, Kirk and Spock worked this out pretty damn quick. Those spheres that the miners have been collecting and just tossing aside because they're not valuable and destroying, they're the eggs of the creature. The creature's a Horta. Now, if you watch A Question of Trek, which I'm on, the quiz show, you'll know that one of our crew members is a Horta.
This is a safe space.
Then what is he doing here?
He has to go.
Thank you, Crewman Cuddles. We'll talk more about your relationship with your mother tomorrow.
Instead of relying on a mind meld to get the information out of the Horta, we have a little speaker that floats around, and it speaks on behalf of the Horta as if they've got a mental link. So its voice floats around it. It's so cute. I love it. But let's get back to the episode, because it is special for us. Spock starts to try to communicate with the creature, and he's pain, intense pain, which of course leads to the old anecdote that Kirk says a lot these days in reference to a few things. He'd had to leave the show, he'd had to leave filming in this episode because of a death in the family, and people were a little worried that he might not be fully with it and able to work when he got back. And he broke the ice quite well. He says, well, Spock filmed this thing where he was mind melding with the alien before I got back. So can I ask him to redo that scene so I can see it and react to it so you can get my reaction shots? So Nimoy goes, pain, pain, intense pain. And Kirk says, sorry, could you do that again? Let me just get this right. Pain, pain, and all that. Could someone get this man an aspirin? I love it! It's so good! He just breaks the ice by making a joke. Playing off Leonard Nimoy, of course, but making a joke and making everyone laugh so that he is back. We can get on without having to tiptoe around. Wonderful stuff. So, Spock is mind melding with this Horta, and I don't know whether it's learning language because of the mind meld, or whether it had its own language and just learns how they communicate. But it brings up the very famous statement, no kill I. Love it. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's willing to work with the miners as long as they don't disturb its thing. It doesn't care that they're mining. It cares that they're hurting its eggs. It's the last of its kind, because after a certain generation, a certain amount of time, each generation dies out. One's left to tend for the next generation and becomes the mother to the next set of Horta. So the Horta is defending its future for its species. And as a result, it's like, oh, of course, yeah. We don't need to be enemies here. We can be friends. We don't want the same thing. We're not competing for the same resources. We can get on. And that is Star Trek in a nutshell. We can get on. We don't have to compete. We don't have to fight. Yeah, you're different. Doesn't matter. We can all work together. I love it. It's a fantastic episode. And like I say, it's cut together so well. It flows so incredibly well. It doesn't feel like a 50-minute episode. It feels like a 30-minute episode, but it's like so quick. Wonderful stuff. Acting's great. Writing's great. Editing's great. The effects are great. This is a solid Warp Factor 10 episode. Warp Factor 10, Mr. Sulu. I love it. But am I being too generous? Or do you think I was about right? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to have a conversation about Star Trek with you in the comments. But until next time, I've been Zoe Kirk Robinson. You've been watching TrekHammer. Live long and prosper. I'll see you next time. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Bortorini. Thank you so much, guys.